Some folks say debates don't matter, that voters are not moved by these debates. But if you were watching last night's debate between Senator Marco Rubio of Florida and his Democratic challenger, Congresswoman Val Demings, you could see exactly who is the one candidate who has the guts to stand up for voters. Demmings was not trying to come in meek and silent. She came out hard hitting against Marco Rubio. And trust me, I can guarantee you today, his ass is hurting because she put her foot, both feet firmly planted in his behind. Roland.
Of course, the senator who has never run anything at all but his mouth would know nothing about helping people and being there for people when they are in trouble. No one planned the pandemic, but our response to it is everything. Individuals were hurting, families were hurting, businesses were hurting. We passed the CARES Act, which the senator supported. There were some problems in the CARES Act with the Paycheck Protection Program that you love to take credit for. Some say it was poorly written. Some say it didn't help the people that it was supposed to, didn't save the jobs that it was supposed to. There was a way to fix the problems in the PPP through the American Rescue Plan and help people that were in trouble. But you played politics, Senator, and you did not do that. Your number one job as a United States Senator is to protect the health, safety, and well-being of the American people. You've been at it for 24 years. I know the senator, look, and I'm really disappointed in you, Marco Rubio, because I think there was a time when you did not lie in order to win. I don't know what happened to you. You know that is not true. My first term in the United States House, I passed legislation to help law enforcement officers with mental health programs. Your first term in the Senate, you voted to turn Medicare into, basically to abolish it, and then turn it into an underfunded voucher program. And then you gave the biggest tax break to the richest of the rich and said you'd pay for it with cuts to Social Security and Medicare.
Why are these people going out there and massacring people?
This is the same.
Because a lot of people own AR-15s and they don't kill everyone.
I understand, sir, but I want to go to Congresswoman Demmings for 60 seconds.
You know, people who are the families of victims of gun violence just heard that, and they're asking themselves, what in the hell did he just say? Senator, you used the Pulse nightclub shooting as your inspiration to run again for the Senate in 2016. Pulse is in my district. And yet, you've done nothing to help address gun violence and get dangerous weapons out of the hands of dangerous people. Florida, after Parkland, after you made promises that you had no intentions on keeping to the parents of Parkland, Florida passed legislation raising the age to have an assault weapon, pass red flag laws that we've seen 7,000 plus instances where they've been used now. Our primary responsibility is the safety of Floridians. And Senator, 24 years in elected office, and you have not yet risen to that occasion. And then when asked about it, you say something that makes no sense. Now, as a police detective who investigated cases of rape and incest, no, Senator, I don't think it's okay for a 10-year-old girl to be raped and have to carry the seed of her rapist. No, I don't think it's okay for you to make decisions for women and girls. As a senator, I think those decisions are made between the woman, her family, her doctor, and her faith. Thought I wasn't going to start my closing arguments with the last couple of things the senator said were just not true. And let me say this. I stand on this stage tonight as the daughter of a maid and a janitor. Had the awesome honor of being the first in my family to graduate college, served at the police department, worked my way up through the ranks to become the chief of police, serving in the House and now running for the Senate. Only in America is my story possible. I just happen to believe that every person, regardless of who they are, deserves the opportunity to succeed, deserves the opportunity to make it. The senator will pick and choose winners and losers based on their ability to pay to play. He talked about pharmaceuticals. He voted against legislation that would help reduce the cost of prescription drugs and help cap the cost of insulin.
Damn. My panel, Robert Patillo, Executive Director, Rainbow Push Coalition, Peachtree Street Project, Joe Richardson, Civil Rights Attorney, Monique Presley, Legal Analyst and host, Make It Make Sense with Monique Presley. Glad to have all three of you here. Damn, Robert. Marco got smacked around by Trump when he ran for president and just got waylaid by Congresswoman Val Demings. And what I appreciated, she didn't go into this. A lot of these analysts and these strategists, oh, you're a woman, so don't go in strong because don't go in as the angry black woman. No, her righteous indignation served her well in this debate.
You're absolutely correct. You know, we're right in the middle of the Rainbow Push Coalition Peachtree Street Project 23rd Annual Creating Opportunity Conference that started today. So earlier I had the pleasure of talking to Sherry Beasley, who's running in North Carolina, as well as Jamie Harrison, DNC chair. And this is the fire that we're talking about bringing to the midterms. This is the aggression that we're talking about bringing to the midterms. We can no longer keep running as if we're in the 1870s. The distinguished gentleman from Florida takes the floor. You have to call out these lies in very plain and simple terms. Val Demings could have been more powerful. She was standing out there for switch because Marco Rubio looked like a little kid getting red after lying and getting caught red-handed. I'm starting trying to figure out why Val Demings wasn't the VP, but that's a personal thing with me. I thought she would have been an outstanding choice for that. But I think people in Florida are seeing a very clear contrast between somebody who will kowtow and bow down and be obsequious before Trumpism, before DeSantisism, before the far right wing of the party, and somebody like Val Demings, who's going to be a voice strictly for the people of her district, people of her district, and people of her state. Understand that she's able to. That you cannot do those attacks about defund the police against Val Demings. You can't say Democrats are soft on crime against Val Demings. You can't talk about women's reproductive issues against Val Demings if you're not ready to get red. So I'll be surprised if Marco Rubio shares the stage again with her before the midterm elections. This race was already within the margin of error, 2 to 3 point race. I'm hoping this gets those national Democratic figures to pour money into this race, pour money into the Sherry Beasley race, pour money into Mandela Barnes, into Charles Booker. We have a chance that we have not seen since Reconstruction in this country, where 10% of the United States Senate could be African American if we win these seats around the country. And I think this is the time when we do a lot of debating on Twitter and Instagram and everything else about what would be the perfect political platform for African Americans. Getting 10% of the Senate in the hands of African Americans, I think, is the place that you start with it.
The thing here, Monique, as I look at this, I think about the debate that Congressman Tim Ryan had against J.D. Vance when he went at his throat and was absolutely on point. I remember watching these people saying, well, even on our show, well, you know, Warnock shouldn't go too hard at Herschel because if he does, that's going to create sympathy for Herschel Walker. And so you don't want to do that. So what happened? They played expectations low. They go, oh, my goodness. I mean, Herschel exceeded expectations. Democrats have got to be willing to call lies out. The right ain't sitting here playing this nice, as Robert said, the distinguished gentleman, gentle lady or the gentleman. No, they are playing for power, and you have to go at people and expose them for who they are.
Yes, you do. And there are ways, obviously, none of the candidates on the Democratic side, at least, are going into these debates without being prepped and being immersed in the material so that they can respond with knowledge and respond presenting themselves well. So I hear what you're saying. I said on Twitter last night that I thought that Congresswoman Demmings put respect on her own name. And obviously, she is by far the better choice for this race and for Florida, and we need her for this country. I also, though, think that if someone is angry righteously and Black and a woman, then yeah, they're an angry Black woman. And being an angry Black woman is not a wrong thing to be. But if you're going to be an angry Black woman, then you have to know that that buys into the tropes, and that is the delicate balancing test that any of us, the tightrope that any of us who are women and Black in leadership deal with. If we show no emotion at all, then we are emotionless. If we show too much emotion, then we can't handle ourselves and can't think logically and rationally and be calm and be decisive. If we show anger as an emotion, then obviously, we're raging, we're angry, etc. So that's just the dance. I personally think that Vice President Kamala Harris does a stellar job of walking that tightrope and not giving flashes that will buy into the stereotypes, not giving them food for it. And I think that Congresswoman Demmings did a stellar job of challenging him last night. Would I have wanted her not pointing her finger if I had been her debate coach? Absolutely. Would I have wanted to try to get her to frown less because I knew that they would zero in on it and show it, and that would be the only pictures that they would show? They would never show her smiling. Absolutely. But she has to be her authentic self. And her authentic self, I hope, is what will connect with enough voters for them to understand that the reason why she's giving the emotion and the reason why she's got the hand gestures and the reason why he looked very, very scared is because these are serious times and a serious person is required, and she's that person.
Well, here's the thing, Joe. I mean, look, part of the thing about anger and righteous indignation is being pissed off. Is standing up for people. And when you have a weak-kneed individual like Marco Rubio, who has done nothing but kiss the ass of Donald Trump, you have got to show that contrast. And we hear it all the time. Folks I want to see a fighter. I want to see a fighter, someone fighting for me. Well, hell, I kind of got to show you some fight in order to do so. And so I think she was just on point.
Well, I agree. And, when Donald Trump is a fighter, Donald Trump doesn't even have to speak in complete sentences, and he gets credit for being a fighter, right? At the end of the day, Val Demings came to scrap. OK, and she proved that she wasn't no punk. And the fact of the matter is, Marco Rubio looked like a punk. He looked punk. His countenance changed. All of it changed. And one of the things that Democrats have to figure out is that the Republicans, you can disagree with everything that they say, but they really go for theirs, right? And sometimes we have to decide not to be milquetoast, because the truth is the truth. And I'm going to be plain spoken, and I'm just going to lay it out. That way, you know where I stand. And there's a difference between, some people make a choice. Let's be kind of sort of the middle of the road and walk a line and toe a line. And some of us have to do that in our business. And when we're trying to get over in court or, whatever it is that we're trying to do, some of us will walk that line or whatever else. And from a political standpoint, to draw more people in. But here's the thought. Why not go strong? Be who you are and excite the people that would come out and vote for you. See, because I think that the numbers are there for her to win, but she's got to drive the people out. And I think the best way to drive people out is to create the contrast, to show who she is, being a fighter. She's got something to say about what officers ought to do and how they feel about guns. She's been one. She's got something to say as a woman and as a detective about what should happen with children that are raped. And there's actually a seed planted that will produce a baby. She should be talking about that, and she should be talking about that with passion, because to the point that was made, she's damned if she does, and she's damned if she doesn't. So if it's in her heart to do it, she might as well do it.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Welcome to Atlanta, one of the most expensive housing markets in America. But rather than help out, Brian Kemp cashed in. He made hundreds of thousands of dollars in real estate. His net worth skyrocketed. And while Atlantans struggled to stay in their homes, Kemp gave $10,000 tax handouts to the richest Georgians and a nearly $700 million no-bid contract to his campaign donor. Brian Kickback Kemp, making Georgia work for him, not you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now
We have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?